Political ad spending is set to break a lot of records in this election cycle. Experts are already predicting ad spending will approach $10 billion in 2020. That's at least $3 billion more than in 2016. And while much of that will be spent on traditional media, a lot of the growth will come from digital ads. Candidates have already spent more than $60 million this year on Google and Facebook alone. And the biggest spenders should come as no surprise, Donald Trump. But politics and digital platforms, that's been kind of a rocky relationship.
Cambridge Analytica drilled deep, looking for a trove of social media data on Americans to help Republican presidential campaigns fine-tune their messages and win votes.
The 2020 election is playing out against the backdrop of Russian meddling and a misinformation crisis. So how are the major digital platforms we use every day adapting their policies? Let's start with the biggest player here, Facebook. The company gets by far the most dollars for political ads compared to any other digital platform. And they've also come under the most scrutiny for their policies. In an effort to increase transparency around political advertising, Facebook recently updated their policies. And when you see ads on Facebook, they have the paid for by disclaimer, where you can also see who paid for it. Facebook also created an ad library where these ads are archived and accessible to the public, along with a report with a lot of the data behind them. So that's great. More transparency, tighter policies, but that hasn't solved all the problems.
Joe Biden promised Ukraine $1 billion if they fired the prosecutor investigating his son's company.
The Biden camp slammed this ad as misleading and demanded that Facebook take it down and shut down other ads like it. But Facebook refused, saying it didn't violate their policy. In response to this, Elizabeth Warren, who advocates for breaking up big tech, ran a deliberately misleading Facebook ad, saying Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook just endorsed Donald Trump for re-election. Facebook kept that ad up too, and recently clarified their policy on the content of political ads, essentially carving out special rules for politicians. Here's how Facebook's VP of Global Affairs and Communications puts it.
We do not submit speech by politicians to our independent fact-checkers, and we generally allow it on the platform even when it would otherwise breach our normal content rules.
CEO Mark Zuckerberg defended this policy in an exclusive interview with Lester Holt this week.
Do you feel like you're giving a green light to politicians that lie?
I believe that that it is important for people to be able to hear and see what politicians are saying. That speech will be heavily scrutinized by other journalists.
Facebook is not the only one facing these issues. In the last Democratic debate, Twitter took the spotlight in an exchange between Kamala Harris and Elizabeth Warren. So let's take a closer look at their policies. Like Facebook, Twitter amended their approach to political advertising in 2018 ahead of the midterms, with the goal of preventing foreign interference. Twitter also has requirements for how these advertisers present themselves on the platform, which focus on representing themselves accurately in their profiles and ads. But like Facebook, Twitter also has different rules for what they define as world leaders. Theoretically, all advertisers and users need to follow certain rules. But Twitter also says there are certain cases where it may be in the public's interest to have access to certain tweets, even if they would otherwise be in violation of our rules. They do say they'll put a certain notice on those tweets. That's a screen you have to click or tap through to see the content of the tweet. And that's a step Facebook doesn't take. Now, Twitter also has an ads transparency center, but Twitter doesn't provide a report the way Facebook does. So here I can't see any useful data around money spent, biggest spenders, or anything of the sort. Now, on the other hand, Google, which owns YouTube, does have a political ads transparency report. Here we can see things like how much money has been spent since they launched the report back in May of 2018. It's up to more than $117 million. And here is that controversial Trump campaign ad about Biden. We reached out to Google about this ad to get clarity on their political advertising policies. They said it didn't violate their policy, a spokesperson telling me all ads that run on our platform have to comply with our ads policies. For political advertisers, we have additional requirements such as verification of the advertiser, a paid for by disclosure, and inclusion in our political ads transparency report. But when it comes to content, unlike Facebook or Twitter, Twitter, Google doesn't actually distinguish between politicians and other advertisers or users. And they do have a policy that restricts misleading content. But the focus here is really false claims around products and services, like miracle cures. It doesn't include any restrictions that would apply to, say, political attack ads that have misleading information, like Trump's attack ad on Biden. And that's something that none of the companies we've talked about so far have decided to explicitly restrict in their policies. But a younger player in the game, Snapchat, does approach things a little differently. Snap was a little late to the game. Its policies went into effect May of this year. But in addition to policies that aim to restrict foreign interference and increase transparency for users, they do directly address the content of political ads. And here's a really interesting note. It says, we encourage political advertisers to be positive, but we don't categorically ban attack ads. That said, political ads must not include attacks relating to a candidate's personal life. On the other hand, Snap's ad library is not exactly user-friendly. But the biggest dissenter of all is social video app TikTok. They've banned political ads altogether. In a blog post, TikTok wrote, "The nature of political ads is not something we believe fits the TikTok platform experience. So instead of ads, you'll be seeing content like this."
Register with us. Castro for president.
Julian Castro is actually the only candidate, as far as we know, that even has a TikTok account. So it's not like this is a platform that's huge for political advertising to begin with. So much of this is likely to evolve as the election heats up, but we'll be keeping a watchful eye on how platforms change, implement, and enforce these policies.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.